Welcome to the NDP community. Many of the talks have been in a general sense about what NDP is and what NDP does. Neuro-Dramatic-Play. We're now going to talk about how it can be applied, and today I'm going to talk about how it can be applied with anxiety. And as we know, in current times, there is a lot of heightened anxiety about. Let's dwell on that. That's what the media does. Let's think of ways we can do something about it. You know you're anxious when you start clasping and unclasping your hands, or almost washing them nervously. Your heartbeat might increase, your breathing may get shallower. You pace and walk around and start something and change something else. Maybe you don't sleep too well. There are lots and lots of ways that we express our anxiety, and sometimes, unless somebody else points them out, we're not actually aware of it. So today we're going to do what I call the 7 Bs. And if you've got some pictures of bees that you could have in front of you when you try this exercise, that would make it a little more light-hearted. So a piece of paper with 7 buzzing bees, and next to each one of them you can write an exercise. As always, when we're tense or we're anxious, remember your breathing. Just remember that right now, wherever you're sitting or standing and watching this. So breathe in through your nose and blow it out through your mouth, just gently. And again, breathe in through your nose and slowly blow it out through your mouth. Our breathing helps us to focus, and it brings much needed oxygen into our whole bodily system. Let's do that exercise once more, but this time when you breathe in, you're going to pause while I count. So breathe in through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now blow it out slowly. And we're going to do it one more time because I'm going to ask you to focus on your chest and the fact that your chest expands when you breathe in and then reduces when you breathe out. So focus on this chest of yours. It's your rib cage coming out with the breath and then in again as the breath goes. Okay. So one more time, focusing on your chest. Breathe in through your mouth, a deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and blow it out again. Good. And the important thing is that our ribs don't collapse as we breathe out. They just slowly, slowly, slowly subside. So that's B number 1, is your breathing. B number 2 is your ability to bounce. Just think about how a ball bounces up and down. Think of that sort of energy. And I'm going to ask you to clap your hands together as if they're bouncing, okay? Are you ready? And bounce. And again, and bounce. Good. One more time. Bounce. Now you see, by breathing and then bouncing, we're going to do the 3rd B, which is breaking old patterns. Breaking old patterns so we don't get stuck into our anxiety, stuck into sitting in tension, stuck into washing our hands or rubbing them, or generally being unhelpfully anxious. So let's do those 2 things and understand the 3rd, that we're breaking old patterns. So think about your rib cage, breathing in through your nose and blowing out through your mouth. In through your nose, blowing out through your mouth, and bounce, bounce, and a 3rd time. Take your arms really high and bounce. Great, you've made a circle. But, there is a but here, and this is B number 4. B number 4 is borders. we have to set some limits. So however much we find new energy through our bouncing and our breathing, we have to set some borders. Otherwise it'll go over the top and we'll end up just exhausted. So try to set limits when you find your new energy. Now, if we've been able to do the breathing and the bouncing and setting the borders, we're ready to burst into creativity. That's our 5th B, is the bursting. So have some art materials near you. You might have some clay, some Play-Doh, and paper, pens, whatever you want. But this idea that you're bursting into your own creativity. So just start, do anything. Touch the clay, rub it, press it, knead it, scribble, draw. Do whatever you want. But just have those creative things in front of you. Scribbling, pounding clay. The pounding or the hitting of the clay, by the way, is a very good way to get rid of tension. Now we get to our 6th and penultimate B, and that's the one we call the blip. Because always, suddenly it goes wrong and we've done rubbish and we don't believe in it and we don't like this and this is no good. But it's very human to have blips. So going all through the breathing and the bouncing, setting the borders and bursting into our creativity, at some point there will be a blip and we're back to feeling anxious how we were before. But then we suddenly realise it's not exactly how it was before. It's a little bit different. It's not so extreme. And we can remember that if we breathe, we'll get back on course again. And B, number 7. We'll blossom into change and our own creations. So just remember that little list about breathing, bouncing, breaking old patterns, setting borders, bursting into creativity. There always being a blip, which means we're human. And soon we will blossom into our own creation and change. Try it out.